Story 1. Married people often forget to treat their partner with as much kindness as they would treat a stranger. There is a saying that familiarity breeds contempt, and it is true in many cases. Do not allow it to happen. Be kind and as understanding as possible. Be patient. My in-laws have been married for more than 60 years, and they are still kind to each other. Story 2:1. Mutual respect and kindness. It does not have to be big gestures. For example, if someone makes you a coffee, say thank you and do the same. Appreciate the little things. 2. Communicate. Take time to talk about your day. When both of you are home from work, share what happened and talk through problems before they get worse. The silent treatment is a relationship killer. 3. Intimacy. Never stop dating each other. Flirt, touch, and kiss as often as you did when you were first dating. 4. Trust. Be each other's person, safe space, and best friend. Story 3:1. Communicate openly and honestly, even when it is difficult. 2. Be friends with each other. 3. Practice the first two every day with intention. Story 4. Being a good spouse means being a good roommate. Clean up, shop for groceries, and replace empty toilet paper rolls without being asked. Story 5. How weird we get when we're together. Married people don't tell you how often they talk in funny voices to each other, roll around slapping their bellies and pretending to be seals, or do other silly things that would sound childish and crazy to outsiders. Story 6. Do not ever insult your partner in front of your friends. Resolve marital issues privately. Story 7. When I was younger, people always said never go to bed angry. My husband and I disagree. I used to insist we resolve disagreements before sleeping, but that only made us tired, more emotional, and kept us up late. Sometimes it is better to get sleep. 99% of the time, sleep and space help resolve disagreements. Story 8. I think many successful couples choose to overlook minor annoyances now and then. They are more willing to let go of being right in order to make the relationship work. They do not accept tolerable levels of unhappiness. Story 9. It is not you and your spouse against each other. It is you and your spouse against your problems. Story 10. The passion, the sex, the romance are flames you need to protect and kindle to keep alive. After years of marriage, what was once new and exciting can become mundane. It takes effort to continually see your partner as if for the first time. The rush of hormones and endorphins that once flooded your brain and body wears off after a few years, so you have to keep things interesting. Good communication is the key. Couples who stop communicating are simply existing together. Story 11. You genuinely like each other, and there's a lot of good-natured humor in your day. Story 12. Kindness is more important than being right, and everybody loses when you start keeping score of small grievances. Be a united team and discuss how you want to handle potential issues in private, so you can back each other up in public. Story 13. We talk mad shit about people when it's just the two of us. It's nice to be able to fully open your brain and heart to someone you trust. Story 14. Being friends with your partner is more important than being lovers. Both are important, but if your compatibility ends at the bedroom, your life will be difficult. You spend more time outside the bedroom than inside. Story 15. We will come up with reasons not to be social with other people on the weekends. We just want to stay indoors, sleep in, be lazy together, and eat pastries for breakfast. Story 16. Our dad, who is 97, and our late mom, who passed in 2021, were married 66 years. I never saw them argue or fight. That does not mean they never had disagreements, but they probably settled them in private. Whenever it involved us 5 children, they were united. They enjoyed the same things, and laughter was abundant in our home. We were truly blessed to have such good parents. Story 17. I do the little things. I do not like hanging my jacket up after work, but I notice my wife hangs it up if I leave it down long enough. Now I hang it up. It is simple and easy. It does not change my day, and it removes something that affects hers. Story 18. We have a shared single brain cell, and we are not always sure who has it. I found the remote in the fridge yesterday, so I guess it was his turn. Story 19. If it is really hard, it is not the right relationship. Everyone argues on occasion, but if you must work at it constantly, it is not a happy partnership and you would be better off apart. Story 20. What happens to one of you happens to both of you. I went through extremely serious, life-threatening medical issues and was mostly out of it for several years. My husband was not. He had to speak with doctors, was repeatedly told to prepare for the worst, and took charge of my care. I did not understand until the roles were reversed. He was strong for me because he did not want to lose me. I did not realize how much he had done until I had to care for him. I will never take him for granted again. Story 21. Marriage isn't always as traditional as you've been told since childhood. It can be whatever works for the two of you. Story 22. A successful marriage is one where you do not want to divorce each other at the same time. Story 23. We go to therapy every couple of years, not because we are fighting, but because it reconnects us and helps us work through the small things that can damage your relationship. 21 years strong. Story 24. Separate bedrooms used to be common, but some people treat them as taboo for whatever reason. We have very different sleep habits and were miserable before. We both sleep better having our own space now, and we communicate better when we are both well rested. Sleeping over feels special now, too. We often end up sleeping together anyway, but if one of us is sick or works late, it is especially convenient. Story 25. When I was a child, my dad told me, "My wife and marriage come first. If your mother and I do not have a good, stable relationship, it will be much worse for you than if we spend all our time doting on you and lose touch with each other." It was an interesting idea even then. Over the years, I have seen many people become so invested in their children's lives that they lose time and energy for each other. Story 26. I have been married for 23 years. I have never once read the messages on my husband's phone, looked at his email account, or monitored his activities or friendships. I would rather be single than spend my time and energy policing my spouse. Life is too short and marriage is too long for that shit. Story 27. Nobody needs to know about your husband's genitalia or your wife's moans. Girl talk and locker room talk are dangerous. Keep your relationship secrets and sexual details within the relationship. Story 28. It is not a compromise if one of you is unhappy about it. You need to find a solution that always works for both people. Do not expect perfection. People who say, "I will never do this" or "I will always do that" mean it, but that is unrealistic. Accept that genuine effort is good enough, even if the person sometimes fails. If you have expectations, say them. Do not assume that your partner knows. If your birthday is important, if a conversation matters, or if you are setting a boundary, use clear words. Say, "I need you to listen." Say, "This is very important to me." Say, "I need support, not solutions right now." Getting angry because your partner did not read your mind is childish. Story 29. 1. Do not marry someone you barely know, no matter how much physical chemistry you have. 2. If you get married and you are not 100% sure, get divorced before having children. It is much harder after you have children. 3. Tell your partner the truth. Story 30. It is important that you both keep trying to show up as your best selves. Not perfect, but aware, the ones who know where they end and where the other person begins. It is dangerously easy in marriage or any long partnership to dissolve into the plural. To start speaking in we or us instead of I or me until one day you cannot quite remember what used to make you feel most alive on your own. There is a kind of romance in that erosion, but I have also seen that there is a quiet tragedy. The secret, I think, is to keep tending to your own fire. Hold on to the parts of you that exist outside the marriage. The hobbies, the passions, the things that light you up and make you feel good, all the parts that make you who you are. Because that is what keeps the air moving between two people. That is what keeps it an open door. We are choosing to be in this together rather than a sealed room. It is harder to do when you have children, of course, but I would argue it is even more important then. It is also practical. When you stay grounded in yourself, you know you can survive on your own if you ever have to. You become stronger, steadier, more whole. From that place you can actually add to what you are building together instead of losing yourself inside it. Plus, it is very attractive to see your partner show up for themselves, to watch them move through the world with that kind of self-respect. It is also why you see so many so-called glow-ups after divorce. People start redirecting all the energy they once poured into their relationship and significant other back into themselves. They remember who they are outside the relationship, and it shows. Story 31. Allow yourself to go to bed mad. Many people say not to do that, but sometimes you need the rest and a mental reset. Wake up in the morning and look at your problems with fresher eyes. Trying to resolve an argument when you are tired and cranky makes no sense. Go to bed, get some sleep, and talk about it in the morning. Story 32. Saying thank you, even for small things like taking out the trash or cleaning the table, helps people feel appreciated and prevents losing sight of each other in daily life. Story 33. You want to know the secret to a lasting marriage? There should not be any secrets. Story 34. Tender loving care. The tiny moments matter the most. Taking a minute out of your day for something they will like, just to show you have thought about them. Flowers, for example. My husband loves receiving them. Story 35. If a person is willing to work on their mistakes, always give them a chance. It is human to make mistakes. Story 36. I am a 27-year-old woman recently widowed with 3 children. We were together for 7 years and went through more than some people do in a lifetime. What kept us together and happy? 1. Don't argue. We would be quiet, do something else, think it over, then come back and agree it had been silly and that we had simply failed to communicate that time. 2. Set boundaries in your relationship. Ignore everyone else. Build your life for the two of you. Our religious beliefs conflicted with both families, but we didn't care. It brought us closer. 3. Talk about death often. The thing that kept me sane was preparing for each other's deaths. We put the fun in funerals, that was what he wanted. 4. Be spiritual together. Study, pray, and keep an open mind. 5. Experiment in the bedroom. If you like something, keep doing it. If you don't, act like it didn't happen. It's only between the two of you, so enjoy it. 6. Whatever you do, do it without regret. We saw each other as kids, teenagers, broke college students, broke young adults, and later as semi-well-off parents. Accept and learn from each phase and move on. 7. Love can be enough because real love takes work. 8. Be best friends, don't just be romantic, be intimate. Tease each other, laugh about gossip, and snack together. We were the only people who knew everything about each other. I used to say, "Hey bestie," and he would put on a hair bonnet and say, "What's up, girl?" It was the best thing ever. Story 37. Compromise and communication are the real foundations. You will disagree on things, but being able to find the middle ground where you both come out ahead is what counts. Listen to understand, then respond to what your partner says. Do what works for the two of you. If it works for you for one partner to stay home while the other works, do that. If you are both happy being workaholics and only spending holidays and vacations together, do that. If you prefer separate bedrooms because you cannot tolerate each other's mess, do that. Whatever makes both of you happier and healthier is best for your relationship, despite what anyone else may tell you. Story 38. Marry the right person. If you settle or think you can change someone after you are married, it is a mistake you cannot recover from. Story 39. No outside votes for anything. My parents, mother-in-law, sister-in-law, daughter-in-law, and others have no votes on any issue we need to discuss. Neither of us goes crying to our mothers about trivial matters. This does not apply to situations involving abuse. We talk through problems like adults without yelling or fighting. Story 40. We still try to hide that we poop from each other years later. I have never seen my husband poop. I have no idea where or when he does it. Story 41. After 2 failed marriages, I am in an absolutely amazing relationship now. Be slow to anger and avoid blowing up. Don't take everything said as fighting words. Listen and respond in a calm manner. Don't be afraid to talk about awkward situations or issues that arise. Be ready to forgive. They are not perfect and have flaws and issues, and so do you. Have a special morning routine or something you do specifically for the other person. Make it your thing and keep it going every morning, even after a bad argument. For me, I get up at 5 a.m., make her coffee, get her stuff ready for the day, start the car, walk her out to the car, hug her, and tell her I love her. Have a secret I love you action, something simple you can do when you can't talk, like during a meeting, and do it often. Treat them how you want to be treated. Men, make sure she is fully satisfied more than just once, and don't satisfy yourself first. Be affectionate in public if you both like that. Kiss, hold hands, whisper things you want to do to each other, and maybe follow through later. Take showers together. Make out. Men, openly appreciate your partner's body. When she walks around the house naked or is changing clothes, say something playful or flirtatious and touch her. Women, don't tell them to stop or downplay it. Lean into it, model for a few seconds, wiggle your butt. Do something to let him know you hear him and that you like it. Kiss and hug often. If you think you're doing it too much, do it more. Always greet at the door when you can. Don't just shout from another room. Get up and go say hi, hug, and kiss. If you can't, as soon as you become available, make sure they know you're happy they're back. Do date nights. Even after years together, never stop doing date nights. Tell them how phenomenal they look when they just wake up or at random times during the day. Buy flowers, do cards, buy gifts, just because it's a Wednesday. Praise them in front of others and don't disagree in public. Outsiders don't need to know the hard parts you're going through. Show a united front. Don't tear each other down in public just for laughs, and don't tear each other down in private in a serious way. Be prepared to laugh at yourself. Say something funny in an argument. It sometimes lightens the load. Story 42. Marry your best friend. Completely trust one another. No secrets between you. If something bothers you about your partner, address it immediately. Resentment, annoyance, and lack of communication will kill any marriage. My wife and I are open about things we dislike about each other. We are not perfect, but we try to improve. Story 43. You have to talk about the hard things, the things that make you uncomfortable, fearful, or sad. If you cannot talk about those things, they are not the right person for you. However, do not stay focused on difficult topics all the time. You need to break the tension often so it does not feel like a therapy session all the time. Story 44. If you don't like how someone does a chore but they are doing it, leave the room. I asked my husband to do something, and while he was doing it, I tried to correct him. He looked at me and said he was going to get it done but would do it his way. He said it kindly. In that moment, I decided that when he is doing something around the house, I will go to another room so I do not try to control how he does the chore. Story 45. This would be such a good thread, but the question needs more context. Secrets that keep us together? Secrets we never want anyone to know? Secrets that would shock other people? Secrets to a happy marriage? Secrets single people wouldn't think about? Dirty secrets? Story 46. Do not stop dating. When you do, you start to feel more like roommates. Make sure your partner remains as important to you as they were during the first 6 months. It is hard and it takes work. You will slip, but always make sure you get back on track. Story 47. Don't worry about how often you have sex. If both of you are satisfied with the quantity and quality, it doesn't matter whether you do it once a day or a few times a year. It's not a contest. Story 48. Date with eyes wide open. Be married with eyes half shut. Meaning, be very selective while you are dating. Pay attention to the small things you do not like and move on. Once you are married, let it go. You chose this person as your partner, so those small things are part of the package. A note: abuse is never acceptable. If you are lied to, that is on them, not on you. Leave those situations as soon as it is safe. Sometimes self-advocacy addresses careless slights. Do not take offense where none is intended. Story 49. Going to therapy alone can save you from being your own worst enemy in your marriage. Childhood trauma is real, and we think we have a handle on it until you are married yourself. Then an entirely new strain seeps out one afternoon when you realize your husband and your dad are wearing the same outfit that you bought for both of them, and you have an epiphany. Maybe you still have some things to sort out. Story 50. Remember that sometimes your significant other just needs to vent. During arguments, if something hurts you, do not assume that it was said with the intent to hurt you. At the end of the day, you are a team. Do not forget that. Story 51. Your marriage is yours alone. What works for you does not have to work for anyone else. Do not take advice from people who are not married or who have not been through marriage. Story 52. If you are married and thinking about having children, know that having children and parenting really change your relationship. Be ready and make an effort to stay close. After your children are no longer babies and your marriage seems calmer, you may find your relationship with your spouse is not in a good place. Learn from this and work to repair the marriage. You both love your children. Help each other with the children, the house, and all the necessities of raising a family, but do not forget to love one another and maintain your connection. Story 53. Have shared interests, hobbies, or goals, and also maintain some that are individual. There is no better feeling than sharing excitement with your spouse and being eager to tell them about your own interests. Ask about your spouse's interests or hobbies. Showing interest in what your partner enjoys can be a love language. Story 54. Some people think we are always together and somewhat codependent. That is by design. We try to share each other's interests and hobbies whenever we can. People either grow together or grow apart. Story 55. Marriage is not 50-50. It is 100% all the time. I have been with my wife for over 45 years. A few things that made our relationship 100% better. 1. Know that everything I do and say affects her, and everything she says affects me. We put our relationship first. 2. 100% transparency in everything. 3. Never allow either of us to be in compromising situations. 4. Our relationship takes priority over everything. If anything or anyone does not fully support our relationship, we remove them. Stress only destroys a relationship, so we do not allow it. Story 56. Love is a choice. You need to choose each other every day. I learned this after a divorce. So many couples drift apart, and the end of a marriage is death by 1,000 paper cuts. The Gottman Institute calls these bids for attention. I highly recommend reading about them. This simple concept could save thousands of marriages. Story 57. You don't need to attend every argument you are invited to. Story 58. Have a sense of humor. It will get you through most situations. Also, never go to bed angry or upset. Great communication is a must. I struggle with this. When I get upset, I tend to go quiet. Give each other plenty of kisses, hugs, and physical affection, not just sex. Be grateful for your partner and tell them that. Story 59. I have been happily married for 16 years. We sleep in separate bedrooms. He snores so loudly it rattles the windows, and I need the room to be quiet and cold. Poor sleep equals poor life. Everyone needs their own space, especially if you are both introverts. Story 60. Everyone thought my husband was the greatest guy in the world. I only talked about the good things he did because if I said anything negative, I was told to change. I was told I was lucky to have someone so great, so I blamed myself. What they did not know was that he was verbally, mentally, emotionally, and financially abusive. Our marriage was spent trying to make him happy. I did not matter and did not need to be happy. He went out on my birthday, on Valentine's Day, and for weekend trips, but never with me. He dated men and had sleepovers with them, yet he swore he was not gay. He made birthday cakes for whoever his special man was, gave him birthday parties, and took him everywhere as his plus one. I was at home, isolated and excluded. I woke up and divorced him after 37 years, but he claimed to be the victim because his wife left such a great guy. I moved 30 miles away, made new friends, and started a life meant to make me happy. His flying monkeys can have him. I act as if he does not exist because the person I thought he was never existed. Marriage was a trap to hide who he was. He needed a source to take out his anger, to have a family, and to pretend he was someone he was not. Story 61. If someone bends over in front of you, do not touch them without their consent. It's not a law. Story 62. Be willing to have hard and sometimes uncomfortable conversations about your issues or theirs. Mood changes, hygiene, illness, existential crises, and so on. It is okay to go to bed mad but still kiss each other goodnight. My husband and I have had some of our best talks after fighting, going to bed, and waking up in a better headspace to talk things through while lying in bed. Story 63. The ability to have an entire argument with just your eyebrows from across a crowded room at a party you both desperately want to leave. Story 64. Never speak negatively about your significant other with friends. There is no reason to. They will only agree with you, and that will make things worse. Also, there is nothing wrong with being attracted to other people. Talk about it. You are human. Can be hot. Story 65. They are not your best friend. They are your spouse, a different relationship. Hopefully you have other friends and a best friend. If you have trauma, post-traumatic stress disorder, or many issues from your past, get help so your marriage is not a constant battle inside and out. If you walk around like a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Therapy, medication, and working through it together are key. Story 66. Avoid what-ifs at all costs. You had many options and you chose this person. Trust that you were wise enough to choose correctly. When things get hard, it is easy to fall into a spiral. Trust yourself and lean even more into the relationship. Story 67. It is not a competition. Be proud of each other's strengths. Do not try to one-up each other. Support each other through weaknesses. Be your spouse's biggest cheerleader, not their biggest critic. Story 68. They are your teammate. Take care of them and let them handle the things you cannot do. Story 69. My wife and I can get salty when we have not had fun together. One date gets us back on track. She is the person I love most, and I need quality time with her to give my life meaning. Story 70. If you tell me something in secret, I will definitely tell my husband. Story 71. Separate vacations are important. You may take vacations together, but getting away alone, whether it is a weekend camping trip or just a night at a resort, can really recharge you. Remember, even if you are not the one going away, it is still a small vacation for you too. Time alone is necessary. Story 72. Sex is important. I cannot speak for asexual people, but I have a healthy libido and so does my husband. We have planned vacations centered on sex, scheduled sex into our busy lives, and generally prioritized it. Can be very hard when children are young or when our careers require long hours. Sex has been a vital part of our marriage. If one of us completely lost his or her drive, it would be very difficult. Story 73. The sheer volume of silent trades. I will handle your mother's odd Facebook rant if you take out the overflowing trash. It is a spousal black market, and the currency is IOU1. I am deeply in debt. Story 74. Turn toward each other in times of conflict, not away. If you can recognize that you are teammates fighting the same problem, rather than seeing each other as the problem, your lives will become much easier. Story 75. The silent agreement to blame the dog for every weird smell in the house. We don't even own a dog. Story 76. Getting married is an exercise in discovering that other people are imperfect in some ways, just like you. Over time you learn to accept and integrate those aspects of them, and they eventually become part of the reason you love them. At the very least, they create contrasts in personality that lead you to genuinely understand them. Some of those things might have sent you running if you had noticed them in the early days, but the slow reveal is part of a long-term relationship, because nobody reveals themselves entirely up front. They might not even be aware of much of it. Either way, if you are self-aware and genuinely love them, you will show them acceptance. That acceptance leads to a deeper love that only comes with time and gives you the perspective to understand how they process the changes in life you experience together. Story 77. Take care of your medical issues, especially in your late 40s and early 50s. Many hormonal changes can affect your relationship, for men as well. I was receiving treatment, but it took 2 years to convince him to have his health checked. His mood has greatly improved. He apologized and we have moved forward, but it was a difficult 2 years. Story 78. Just like the 1-minute manager, praise in public and reprimand in private. Always be an advocate for your spouse. We do normal, minor complaining about each other with friends, but we never discuss serious issues with anyone outside the two of us. Communicate and compromise. It's not about winning or losing. When you disagree, sometimes you get your way and sometimes your spouse does. You compromise because you want each other to be happy, not just one person. Story 79. Never speak ill of your spouse to anyone. A coworker once told me he hoped his wife would speak of him as well as I spoke of my husband. Story 80. I dated my husband because I love him. I married him because I trust him with my secrets, our finances, our child, and our pets. I trust that he will still love me as my body changes, and that if he changes over the years, it will not be into someone who does not respect me, others, or himself. Do not date someone you do not love, and do not marry someone you do not trust. Story 81. Do not complain about your significant other to friends and family. Do not give anyone a reason to interfere in your marriage. Story 82. I have been married for 36 years, and here is what I have learned from my point of view. 1. Always respect each other, especially in front of other people. The respect I show my wife reflects the respect I have for myself. She has never teased me in front of others. 2. Learn to communicate respectfully and honestly without blame. Do not let things get so bad that you are yelling at each other. Get professional help if necessary. 3. Decide on a household account and give each person a small personal account. Mine is for hobbies, buying presents, and other items that do not affect our bills. 4. Have a space in the house that is yours. Sometimes a person just needs space to think and work things out. I also need space for my hobbies. It is a small desk, and she does not tell me what I can or cannot keep there. She has her own space as well. 5. You do not have to have shared hobbies, but it helps if you support your partner's hobbies. It shows that you understand them. 6. If you cannot tell your partner what you are doing, who you are with, or where you have been, you probably should not be doing it in the first place. 7. Do not be afraid of counseling. It helps. We went to counseling after 10 years, and now we have been together for 36 years. 8. When you have a disagreement, consider this. Do you want to be right, or do you want to be in a relationship? I am not saying to give in or lie. I am saying to consider compromise and do not let your ego get in the way. 9. One way to end an argument is to say, you could be right. Learn to see both sides. Story 83. After 35 years. 1. You will always love your partner, but you may not like them for a short time. 2. Use please, thank you, would you mind, and so on 100% of the time. If I would say it to a stranger, why would I not use the same politeness toward the person I love most? Story 84. Asking yourself whether your partner is happy being married to you is a good way to reevaluate your behavior. Sometimes I realize I am being a complete jerk. Story 85. For me, it all comes down to respect. There are 8 billion people on this planet. You are choosing one to walk through life with. If you don't treat that one person with respect, what are you even doing? Story 86. Spending time together does not necessarily mean doing the same thing. It means not ignoring each other. If you can set up a room where you are together doing separate hobbies, you are still together. My wife builds her Lego bricks in the same room where I play video games and pose and play with my figures. We enjoy our hobbies together instead of ignoring one another. Story 87. Marriage is easier when you are best friends. It also helps when you are comfortable talking about finances, bills, and repairs together. The only constant in life is that cars break down. Story 88. 18 years under our belt. The best advice I can give is to keep your marriage private. Do not invite others into the conversations you have with your spouse. Marriage is not held together by a committee. It is held together by two people who wholly trust one another. Story 89. Make her coffee and say, "Bless you." It is not magic. It is giving a shit. Story 90. The secret to a long marriage is never leaving. It's not about never making mistakes or poor choices, or naturally being good at commitment. It's about repentance and forgiveness, patience, and humility. It's a choice every day. Story 91. Do not measure love by how much you care about someone. Measure it by how tolerant you are of their shortcomings or annoying traits. Story 92. I heard an interview with a couple who had been together for a very long time. They said the secret is that you stay. This resonated with me. There have been times when I wanted to leave and times when my husband wanted to leave. Fortunately, we have never felt that way at the same time. Both of us are very glad we stuck it out because the ups and downs are very natural. I am not suggesting that anyone tolerate physical or emotional abuse. The other key is respect. If you do not respect your partner and they do not respect you, why bother? Finally, I have learned that all of my relationships are far better when I do not offer unsolicited advice and when I keep my opinions to myself. I have been with my husband for 33 years, and today, after raising our children, our relationship is better than ever. Story 93. Every relationship feels broken at some point. The difference is whether you leave or not. Story 94. Happily married for 14 years. Our secret is that we chose someone we genuinely like. We are in love, but you need a partner you enjoy being around when you are not horny. Someone who can make you laugh in traffic and who can decide without tension who cleans the bathroom. You want that person to be the one who helps you into the shower if you get sick or have an accident. That is the best friend you want to sleep with. Story 95. Be respectful of each other. Have separate interests. Do not be a dick. Story 96. You may think this is dumb, but having separate bathrooms is a huge plus. If that is not possible, have separate sinks. We have separate bathrooms but share a large shower. How many skin and hair products does a woman need? Story 97. Anything I tell my friend, I assume she will tell her husband. Story 98. Never speak ill of your spouse to anyone. I cannot stand when people complain about their spouse to me. It says more about the complainer than about the spouse. Story 99. Treat one another as children. Create a safe space to experiment, communicate openly without judgment, and allow each person to make mistakes. We are all constantly growing, and we return to places where we feel safe to be our true selves. Story 100. When it's just us, we make stupid voices for the dog, for each other, for the kids, and for other people all the time. Story 101. Don't stop dating your spouse. Be intentional about spending time together, just the two of you, regularly. It doesn't have to be anything fancy or expensive. Take a walk together, go out for coffee, turn off the television and play a game together. It's an easy way to stay connected when life, kids, and work get overwhelming. My partner and I go out one night a week to a coffee shop and play cribbage for an hour or so. We drink coffee, talk about anything that comes to mind, and roast each other over our flying skills. No matter how shitty the week gets, we have that to look forward to. Be kind to your partner. Don't forget to say please and thank you. It's easy to skip those little pleasantries when you've been with someone for a long time. We're always on our best behavior with other people and often feel we can relax and drop some niceties with our spouse or partner. Are you getting a refill on your coffee? Get one for them too. Do you know she hates stopping at the dry cleaner? Swing by on your way home. Learn to communicate with each other. Get help with that if you're struggling. Remember that disagreeing with you is not a personal attack. Learn to compromise. Learn to let go and stop keeping score. Remember that you're a team. It's the two of you against everything else. Married 39 years this winter. Story 102. Marriage isn't hard or a lot of work. I married my best friend, who I love and respect. If it were hard, I wouldn't have married him. Story 103. My wife and I have a cheese tax. If you open a bag of shredded cheese for any reason, you are legally obligated to pour a small handful directly into the other person's mouth, like a baby bird. Story 104. The unspoken agreement to pretend we do not know about each other's secret snack stashes. It is a delicate ecosystem built on lies and a shared love of gas station jerky. Story 105. If you feel any contempt, resolve it quickly. It destroys everything. Your spouse should be your best friend. Story 106. Sex is a human need and a connection between two people, not just pleasure. I can tell when I'm craving that connection in obvious ways because I start worrying about our relationship. Is he mad at me? Is he happy? Are we happy together? Are we going to make it? After sex, my mind calms and I feel reassured. I laugh at myself for worrying. I feel connected and together again. Story 107. We are bitches together, talking shit and laughing out loud. We are best friends who have good sex together. Story 108. Use your words is not a secret, but people do not listen when they are told. Do not stew in resentment. Talk it out. If the other person has a problem, do not immediately become defensive when they are trying to discuss it. Story 109. My husband cooks and I clean. I always say thank you for dinner. Story 110. My wife and I are mates and lovers. We hate everyone else. Story 111. Far more married couples seek counseling than admit it. My husband used to believe marriage counseling causes divorce because divorced people often say they received counseling before divorcing, while couples who stay married rarely mention it. He thought that getting counseling meant you could not handle your problems and would therefore divorce. That is not the case. Most married couples simply do not publicize having received counseling. Michelle Obama mentioned this in her memoir, one of the few public figures to do so. Story 112. You do not have to spend every minute of your free time together. It is better if you do not. I often want to read or play my PlayStation when she wants to watch something I have no interest in watching, such as Bridgerton for the 20th time. She watches in our room with the door open while I am in the living room doing whatever I want. We leave the door open so we can still talk when we want to. Another important point is transparency rather than honesty. Honesty is telling the truth when asked. Transparency is being open about everything all the time. Story 113. Sorry, I'm not allowed to tell you. I'll give you a hint. For us, it's about wanting to make the other person happy, but not at the expense of our own happiness. Story 114. Marriage isn't 50-50. You must be fully committed at all times. Don't fight as if you are against your partner. Treat problems as a team fighting the problem. It forces you to work together for resolutions instead of resentments. Story 115. Know that even when you disagree, you are on the same side. Story 116. A marriage needs privacy and space to breathe. That means not sharing every detail, positive or negative, with family or friends. Do not publicly embarrass or humiliate your spouse with private jokes or moments. Do not do this to your children either. Allow major news to remain between the two of you for a while. Instead of immediately announcing something like a pregnancy, do not invite people outside the marriage to meals, the home, vacations, or weekend plans without first discussing it with your spouse. Do not throw a tantrum when they say no. Some marriages fail because they are suffocated by outside influence enabled by one spouse. Story 117. My wife is my best friend and we laugh together, but I rarely tease her the way I tease my friends. It is fun, but not all the time. I instinctively decided I wanted to be her safe space. So I am gentle around her and she can say whatever she likes without fear of being mocked, even if it is affectionate. Story 118. Compete to love one another the most. This is not just words. These are actions. Story 119. Be able to see the other person's point of view. You aren't always right. Story 120. Here are a few additional suggestions. 1. If you are going to drink, do it together. 2. Go to bed at the same time. 3. She should reach orgasm twice as often as you do. 4. Masturbation is common and should be encouraged as a healthy sexual habit. 5. Work out together. Story 121. If you fight a lot at the beginning of a relationship, it will never stop. If you face challenges together as a team, your relationship will endure. Story 122. Communicate always, especially when it is awkward, embarrassing, or shameful. Story 123. Find someone who makes you laugh and whom you can make laugh as well. Life is shitty and romance fades, but if you still laugh together every day, you have a true gift. Story 124. I tell anyone who wants to listen. It is all about communication. It means feeling free to say what you want or need and to listen to what your significant other wants or needs. I am not saying it is easy. It is a skill that must be learned, and once you learn it, the rest works out. Story 125. Always act as if you are in love with this person, even when they are making you angry. Story 126. Instead of 50-50, it is really 100% from both of us. Build your marriage on what you want to get out of it. I love my husband 10,000%. Best and only marriage ever. Story 127. Always leave pebbles that she may not thank you for, but that you know she loves you for. Get a small coloring book and create a piece of art for her. Sign it with the date and a short personal note. Give her a duck like the ones Jeep enthusiasts love. Put it in her lunchbox, or even better, place it on the hood of her car for the morning commute. Make sure she always has snacks and food she can munch on when she does not know what she wants to eat. Occasionally give her a playful, consensual touch. Story 128. I was always told that marriage is hard work and stressful when I was growing up. I thought that was an odd thing to say to someone, especially a child or teen. I have been with my awesome husband for 15 years and married for 11 years. I have always told people the opposite about marriage. Marriage is not for everyone, and no one is obligated to be married. Marriage is easy and fun when you marry your best friend and do not settle for the wrong person. Story 129. It's like when the bell rings in a boxing match. Go to your separate corners. Do not sweep it under the rug. Give yourselves a few hours to calm down and remove the emotions from it. Story 130. When I was married, wanting alone time felt shameful. Admitting we did not want to be around each other every night seemed wrong. After we divorced, we both laughed at alternating nights on the couch to have time alone. In healthy relationships since then, alone time has remained important to me. Story 131. I have heard many times that the spark and passion that is there at first cools down to a solid, comfortable friendship. What no one ever told me is that it can come back even stronger. The peaks and valleys of marriage over a lifetime are something I never conceived of. It is something you never experience dating, because when you are dating and you end up in a valley, that is the end. About 9 years into our marriage, 5 years ago, my husband and I really fell in love again. It was butterfly, giddy, horny love. We are more in a solid friends with benefits zone, but since we have had that experience once, I know we can get there again if we ride it out and pay attention. Marriage is dope. Story 132. If someone is hungry, get food immediately. Hunger is a major cause of fights. Story 133. You begin a marriage with a set of agreements, both spoken and unspoken. People do not grow at the same time, in the same way, or at the same pace. Be prepared to renegotiate the agreement periodically, sometimes even radically, if you want it to last. Story 134. I have been with my partner for 25 years. Here is what I have learned. 1. It is a partnership. The goal is to make each other's lives easier. If there is something your partner hates doing and you do not mind, do it for them. Even if you dislike it, try to do it as much as possible. The point of a relationship is to make daily life easier for the other person. You both pick up the slack for each other. Strive to be the person in their life who annoys them the least. 2. The little things matter far more than the big things. Do small things that give your partner joy for the sole purpose of making them happy. Be genuinely interested in what they love. You do not need to share the same passion, but do not spoil something they enjoy by dismissing it or dominating it. 3. Be aware of how you talk to and about the person you love. There will be times you are frustrated or angry and times you do not want to be around them. Even then, keep perspective and treat them with respect. 4. Maintain your sex life and be generous and willing. After many years, the intense passion of youth fades and routines develop. Your sex drive changes with age, and life makes time scarce. Do not let intimacy fall by the wayside. Make plans for it and schedule it if necessary. It may not sound romantic, but if routine kills spontaneity, schedule time so it happens. Be open to exploring your sexual lives together and trying new things when both of you agree. 5. Do not have children unless you both genuinely want them. Do not have children to try to fix a troubled marriage. Children will not save a relationship that is already failing. Have children because you want to raise them together. If you only want something to care for, consider a pet or a garden instead. 6. Keep your own interests. It is important to have things that are just yours and for your partner to allow you the space to pursue them. You need time alone and time with friends. I enjoy role-playing games and miniatures gaming. My wife encourages me to pursue my hobbies, and I do the same for her. Your hobbies do not have to line up perfectly, and it is okay if you both have interests the other does not share. Story 135, how miserable they are. They won't even admit it to themselves. Think about how many divorced people you've heard tell stories about how unhappy they were or come to the realization that they were treating each other terribly after the relationship ended. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.